right, guys, welcome to Any Given Sunday Award Show. We just are about to finish our first season here, and I'm Cash Brown. Alongside me today, Trey Robinson.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. And by the way, that shirt looks absolutely fucking awful. I can't believe you picked that to wear today.
Well, first off, fuck you. And second off, I think that something else that was awful this year was the performance of the Patriots and Jets.
Oh, yeah? What about those Jaguars?
I think they did fine. Anyways, let's move on to how some of the divisions did, and who made it into the playoffs, and how those playoffs have been going so far. Let's start this division rundown with the AFC East.
Yeah, in the AFC East, we had the Miami Dolphins taking the division at 9-7, which is weak standing, but I guess I shouldn't be talking about 9-7 winning a division. Coming in second was the Buffalo Bills at 7-9. So I guess you could say it was a close contention. But the Buffalo Bills this season, I believe, started Tyree Jackson, which is interesting.
Yeah, very much. They traded Josh Allen to did they trade Josh Allen?
They said they traded away Josh Allen and started a 58 overall quarterback with normal development because he can run kind of fast and throw pretty far. And that's what it came down to for the Bills making that decision. Obviously didn't work out for them year one, but it was said that that Tyree Jackson wants a super cheap contract. So perhaps in the future, you see the Bills take that division over Gons and the Dolphins.
Yeah. Jets and Patriots at the bottom of that division, but
yeah, we touched on that earlier.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on over to the AFC South.
Okay, in the AFC South, we had the Indianapolis Colts going 9-7, as well as the Tennessee Titans going 9-7. The Colts ended up winning that division. Because I believe it came down to conference wins. It looks like they had one more conference win than these Titans did, as well as they had a better home record and some other stuff going into the playoff stuff. But when it came down to it, the Tennessee Titans barely squeaked out the W versus the Houston Texans in their last game in order to contend for playoffs. Tennessee Titans then went on and did fuck all with that, but we won't touch too much on that. I'll probably be out of the league just for saying that.
Very true. Very true. Let's move on over to the AFC North.
Okay, in the AFC North, we had the Baltimore Ravens, who we saw tonight absolutely put the beat down on Trent and his Broncos. It actually wasn't a beat down, but it felt like that, as Trent was definitely the favorite going into that game. So we will see the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. We have not yet learned the winner of that game. Coming in at second, we had Weezy and his Cleveland Browns. And I feel like that user and that team is just a match made in heaven, honestly. I feel like his personality fits the way that team is, and we all know Weezy. We all love him. He's super active in the league. And then we had the Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers come in 8-8. Lurk claims he should have made the playoffs, and as well as Fisky, who actually got his Steelers this year.
Wow. Yeah. Let's move on over to the AFC West.
So in the AFC West, we had the Denver Broncos going 14-2, like I touched on earlier, which was Trent going 14-2, and he actually got beat by the Ravens tonight for a contention for the Super Bowl, which was surprising as he was the favorite going into that game. It looked like he had 139 points just in the division alone netted, and he went 6-0 in the division, which is unheard of, and 12-0 in the conference. He had a monster season this year. The Las Vegas Raiders came in at 9-7, second in the division, and surprisingly enough, OG, who had the number one pick for team selection coming in this season, went 7-9. The Las Vegas Raiders, by the way, I should touch on, had controversy during this whole season as Henry Ruggs went absolutely beast mode, you could say, or not even beast mode. I don't know what to call it, but he definitely got the ball a lot, and that user is no longer here, and we have a great user in Scotland who is taking over there, and actually, I believe, got a playoff win, and then was later decimated by Trent. And then Kansas City Chiefs kind of shit the bed. OG really shit the bed there. It just didn't pan out well for him, and you really think that should have, considering he has Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, Patrick Mahomes. You think in Madden that's just a recipe for winning, but apparently not. And then Los Angeles Chargers came in at 6-10, and I don't remember who was using them, but I'm sure they're in a rebuilding mode right now, playing Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler, whoever else is on that team still.
I wouldn't be surprised if OG cuts out that part you said about him. Obviously, the you'd assume unanimous candidate for MVP was Aaron Rodgers, who had a monster year with the Denver Broncos, leading them to 14-2. No arguments can be made there, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of argument there, considering he was on Trent's team, and Agu traded him away early in the season when he was still with the Packers, and Jordan Love obviously took over there for the Packers. But we're not here to talk about Jordan Love. We're here to talk about the fact that Aaron Rodgers absolutely decimated this league passing wise. That Broncos team came out with a complete air raid attack as Rodgers is aging. But this year he came out and nobody stood a chance. He had young receivers around him, first round picks around him for the first time in forever, which he didn't have with the Packers. And every position was stacked for him. Every offensive position, even that offensive line isn't really that bad. So you got to think when he got traded, he was probably happy. He probably got his guaranteed money and then just rolled over to Denver in the Mile High Stadium, maybe got a mile high himself, and then just went out there and just threw piss missiles everywhere.
Nice.
Congratulations to Aaron Rodgers for winning Any Given Sunday MVP award. 5,460 yards, 59 touchdowns, and only 18 interceptions.
Henry Ruggs, winning Offensive Rookie of the Year and Best Wide Receiver in the AFC. Again, I don't really think there can be an argument there. How he got there is questionable in terms of stat padding, perhaps. But, I think that obviously the stats are there, and this is a reasonable winner for the Best Wide Receiver and Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, especially with the way Madden programs thing, it's obviously very stat-based. In real life, I don't think Henry Ruggs breaks these numbers his rookie season. He had over 2,000 yards, and I know you touched on that earlier going over the slides, but that's insane. 29 receiving touchdowns. Obviously there was some stat padding there, but you got to think it kind of makes sense that he would do that because that's someone you want to focus on in your offense. Obviously, we don't allow that for very obvious reasons, but, the kid ran a 4.27, 4.2 something. He's fast, lightning fast. He's supposed to be the next Tyreek Hill of this league. And, he proved it this year, I guess I can say.
Henry Ruggs, Best Wide Receiver and Offensive Rookie of the Year. "93 receptions and 2,228 yards.
Earl Thomas III winning Defensive Player of the Year, and he had a fantastic year with his new Bengals team, and like with most of these awards, I think you really can make no argument for anybody else deserving that award.
Yeah, and he's now officially a veteran. He doesn't have the same steps he used to. He's not as fast as he used to, and he was a surprise free agent this year after punching ex-teammate at this point, Chuck Clark, in the face after he completely blew a coverage in practice. Not Chuck Clark, Earl Thomas did, and got mad at his teammates for it because he was getting chewed out. You'd think any veteran would be able to handle that and understand that I messed up in practice. Whatever, let's move on. But he blew his top off, and everyone thought that the Dallas Cowboys would sign him. But the Cincinnati Bengals came out of nowhere, swooped him up, and he was all over the field, maybe even playing a money backer position because he had 13 tackles for loss and 96 tackles, as well as 12 interceptions, which he was just everywhere, which is absolutely insane for someone his age.
Earl Thomas III, AFC Defensive Player of the Year.
All right, and Derrick Henry winning the best running back in the AFC. Again, no argument can be made there. We can both attest to that as we are both in that division. And I can certainly say that, J-Pack went 9-7 for a reason, and it really wasn't his passing game by any means. He struggled with Tannehill a lot this year. Henry running over defenses left and right. I know I had no answer for him. Had a few close games with him, but that's about as far as it went.
Yeah, both of my games with him, too, were close. But, Derrick Henry just kind of bends every defense. He'd bend whoever he wants. They're just done. He pushes them out of the way, throws them out of the way. He even had a pretty good receiving year this year because Ryan Tannehill really struggled to throw the ball downfield. So if he saw Derrick Henry with even 2.5 yards of separation from a flat defender, whatever, threw him the ball. Derrick Henry ran 15 people over and just decided to go in the end zone. He was unstoppable.
Derrick Henry, AFC Best Running Back.
All right, and Kevin Byard there with Best Defensive Back in the AFC. he had a pretty good year. J-Pack got very lucky with some of these star players on his team. And, why don't you go ahead and go into some of Kevin Byard's stats for us?
So Kevin Byard, I'm actually not going to go into his stats too much because I don't think that's what his story is really about. His story is really about him. He was very unknown in these past couple of years. I believe he made a Pro Bowl team or a NFL All Team, something that manner where people are like, who is that? I've never heard of him before. Why is he even on there? But Kevin Byard has been a baller for a while, and I don't know if he recently got paid or if he's due to get broken off soon. But that man is a baller. There's nothing you can say about it. He gets his job done. He actually reminds me kind of like a Patriots player. He just walks in, does his job, leaves, very quiet. But yeah, you could say J-Pack didn't really use him possibly to the best of ability, but the computer surely did.
Kevin Byard, best defensive back.
All right, so Ojemudia winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. Like, great season for him, for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, I've never heard of this person before. I didn't have time to look up his stats or whatever. He was on the 14-2 Broncos, and he was on the Broncos, meaning he's used by Trent. And Trent knows how to build a team, and he probably just went in, saw this guy had like one stat he liked. He's like, you know what? He's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, and Trent made it happen because Trent kind of does whatever he wants, except for win the AFC Championship.
Poor Trent. Yeah. It was a fun game to watch, though.
It was a really fun game to watch.
M. Ojemudia, Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Calais Campbell there, winning Best Defensive Lineman in the AFC, and obviously no arguments there. The dude's a monster.
Yeah, he's just a physical specimen. I mean, when you really think about it, he's as big as LeBron James is, but he's bigger, if you know what I mean. Like, the dude is just pure muscle and does whatever he wants. He was obviously known for being on the Jacksonville Jaguars when they had their stout defense. But he actually started on the Cardinals, ended up signing with the Jaguars, and that's where his name really got out. And then he was traded to the Ravens. I believe he's still on the team in AGS, but he was traded to the Ravens for like a 5th-round pick or something, which is absolute highway robbery because that team is just ridiculous at this point. And Calais Campbell, he can play D-tackle in a 4-3. He can play a 3-4 end. He can come off the edge if you really need him to at certain times. He can do whatever you want across that defensive line, and he's just a monster.
Yeah, that trade the Jaguars made for the 5th rounder, I guess, both in real life and AGS, just not the smartest trade negotiators.
Yeah.
Calais Campbell, best defensive lineman.
K1 Alexander there, winning Best Linebacker, and a great year for him as well.
Yeah, K1 Alexander is a very interesting story. I'm sure Madden-wise, he was in the league before I really got into the CFM scene, but I can only imagine. I mean, he's been a monster for even when I've been in. He's just he's known as a fast linebacker. He can cover sideline to sideline, and the guy was be a monster user, which I'm sure helped him win this AFC Linebacker of the Year. And he started on the Bucs, had some injury concerns, went to the Niners, I believe, got traded over to the Steelers. And, I mean, they took full advantage of his speed and his athleticism, clearly.
K. Alexander, best linebacker.
Wait, he's on the... Fuck.
Huh?
He's on the Niners, started on the... Okay, yeah, got
Trump's
it.
positive for COVID?
What? Trump is?
Yeah. Yo.
Wait.
Wow.
Wait, didn't he just have a debate?
Yeah.
I wonder if he was positive then or if it just happened.
But other than that, let's move on over to the NFC. See, we'll start in the NFC East.
So in the NFC East, we had the Dallas Cowboys winning the division at 8-8. And actually, interesting enough, now that I'm really looking at it, we had a 3-way tie in the NFC East, and I would assume I think only one of these teams made it. It was the Dallas Cowboys, because I believe I saw the Washington Football Team user saying that he should have made the playoffs, but he claims he got robbed apparently.
Continually.
Going 8-8. Going 8-8, I don't think he should have made it in the first place. I mean, I didn't do better than that at all, but that's okay. Then we had the Eagles come in at 3rd and 8-8, and the New York Giants went 7-9. You got to think in the future, right now, the Cowboys are probably in a good spot as they have a lot of youth on that team, as well as the Giants, the football team. they don't have a name, so I just don't even know what to say about them. And the Eagles are always a tough one because they are in cap hell right now.
Okay.
NFC North.
Let's move on over to the NFC North.
In the NFC North, we had the Chicago Bears. I believe AO had them this year going 11-5, so they definitely made the playoffs there. In second, we had the Green Bay Packers, who I think Agu had Aju. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't think he's in the league anymore. Actually,
no, actually, he got burnt out of Madden. Apparently, a lot of people thinking it was more because he was interested in NBA 2K, as he would frequently not be on for games.
That's
there, buddy.
That's very interesting, but 2K, I don't know. That's an interesting move by him, but I think we still have to work on a Packers user. If not, hopefully the new guy can kind of clean up this. Oh wait, it's actually Money. Now that I think about it, Money is in there. He was able to play a couple games. And I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say about Money. The way he goes about building teams and trading things can be a little harassing at times. Minnesota Vikings, I don't remember who had them, and Lions, I believe, was Mac Daddy, who had an interesting season. It seems like he beat some players that maybe he shouldn't have beat, and he didn't beat either of us, considering our seasons. He seems like a very upside-down team on who he should be and who he shouldn't be. Maybe an exciting user to come.
Yeah, I will speak on Mike Dad. I will say that I've been in this league for about 2.5, 3 seasons now. I have won one game, and that was against him. So if that says anything about anything to anyone, that's how the Lions did this year. Let's move over to the NFC South.
So in the NFC South, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going 11-5, and I don't even know what to say. We gave undisputed again his Buccaneers, which means in a couple seasons here, Ronald Jones is again going to be terrorizing the league. Cash wasn't around for this, but Ronald Jones terrorized me for the entire Madden 20 cycle. I only got one win versus him. He's going to be a strong user. He might take that division 10 years out of 10 years of this cycle. Saints also went 10-6, as well as the Carolina Panthers. It looks like this team had this division had 3 teams make the playoffs. Very interesting. And Dumpf going 8-8, and he believes that should be his division from now on. It would be very interesting to see him have to deal with Ronald Jones. I'm excited to be seeing. I am excited to be seeing how he reacts to Ronald Jones in the future in the chat. It should be very entertaining.
For this division rundown, we'll move over to the NFC West.
So we in real life are very familiar with this division as we are Seahawks fans, but sadly in this universe, I guess you could say, the Niners went 12-4 winning this division, which is very interesting. But they do have, you got to think the running attack in Madden in real life, that's just going to be the strong suit of that team because Jimmy Garoppolo does fuck all. And then I think Rhino had them. And then T-Hoy with the Arizona Cardinals, who I believe we commentated his game last night in our time. And he is going to the conference. I almost said the conference finals. This is not the NBA, folks. This is the NFL. He is going to the conference championship. And he will be competing for a spot in the Super Bowl representing the NFC. And then, so he went from second place, likely a wild card team, and maybe the Super Bowl. And then Seattle Seahawks coming in at 9-7. He's a Seahawks fan in real life, and it hurts to see him put our team below the Cardinals and the Niners. I'm not saying I would have done better myself, but I gotta question you. I see through. I'm sorry, but as a fellow Seahawks fan, I need you to step it up and represent for us over there. And then the Los Angeles Rams, who I believe was Solo Jones this year. Wheezy, usually having the Los Angeles Rams, decided to go an opposite route. So we got a new user with the Rams, and he went 6-10 this year, perhaps in a rebuilding year. I believe the Rams are also in kind of cap hell, similar to how we touched on the Eagles earlier.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this divisional rundown. And a very interesting year in AGS, I'd say. But now that we're through with that, let's go ahead and get to some awards.
Now for our NFC winners.
Matt Ryan coming in as the best QB in the NFC, and really no surprises there. He's been solid his whole career.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of other guys. That NFC is really stacked quarterback-wise, especially that division having Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Tom Brady. Obviously, Teddy Bridgewater kind of falls to the bottom there, but he's no slop himself. But we're really here to talk about Matt Ryan right now. He's been consistent his entire career, never been able to finish, especially in these past couple years. We all think of that Patriots Super Bowl that they played and absolutely decimated their own lead. But he obviously had a monster year this year, throwing to a guy like Julio Jones, and Dumpf definitely made the most out of Matt Ryan, and he only has a couple years left on his contract. They're paying him a lot, so they better get what they can out of him now, because Dumpf, although he missed the playoffs, will have about one more year before regression absolutely murders Matt Ryan.
Atlanta Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan, 37 touchdowns and best NFC QB.
Tevin Coleman, running back for the Saints, winning the Offensive Player of the Year and the best running back in the NFC. We saw an evidence there in that NFC Championship game. That guy can move.
Yeah, he can move really well. He's been known as a fast guy his whole career. He actually left from the Falcons in free agency, I believe after his rookie deal ran up, from backing up Devontae Freeman. He said, enough of this. I want to go start somewhere. Went to the 49ers and didn't actually end up winning a starting job, as Raheem Mostert decided to be a god, basically, in that offense. So he got traded over to the Saints this year, and he may have had a stuttering start, but as the season went on, he absolutely decimated the competition. I believe he was top 5 rushing, right? That team.
Yeah.
And he was obviously the focal point of that.
Stuttering start indeed.
Tevin Coleman, New Orleans Saints running back, Offensive Player of the Year, and NFC Best Running Back.
TJ Green, Defensive Player of the Year and best defensive back in the NFC. He had a great year.
Yeah, he had a great year, and he really came out of nowhere there. I believe that's Ao up there in the north in Chicago using that team. And you got to think, I checked out his stats, and he's 94 speed at the strong safety position, and I think that just says enough by itself. He's 26 years old, so he's not someone you're really going to get a chance to develop up, especially with only normal development. But for this season alone, 94 speed, and maybe even next season, is just going to absolutely decimate the league, because AO is going to be everywhere with that user, and you're not going to be able to do much about it.
TJ Green, Defensive Player of the Year.
Darnell Mooney, winning Offensive Rookie of the Year and Best Wide Receiver, and I don't think a lot of people expected this guy to have the year he did. He was really making waves over there in the NFC and all around the league.
Yeah, you think like winning Offensive Rookie in the Year, especially in a Madden league, anybody can really do it, but Offensive Player or Wide Receiver of the Year, that's a big deal considering you have guys in the NFC like Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins. So Darnell Mooney came out of nowhere. AO used him, and he must have some stat AO likes and just gave him the ball, and he just made the most out of it with his stick skills. And we all know AO's a great player over there, so he can develop really anyone he wants.
Darnell Mooney, Offensive Rookie of the Year and Best Wide Receiver.
Troy Pride Jr. coming in at Defensive Rookie of the Year, and, with that Panthers team, he was really making the most of his position.
Yeah, that Panthers team, are they playing? I believe they're playing in the NFC Championship, right?
They are.
Against T. Hoyt. Yeah, so obviously Troy Pride Jr. must have been a big part of that team this year, and he in Madden, it's not that hard to really develop someone if you have a great user, and Slop definitely is a stronger user when he's playing to his top of his game. And Troy Pride Jr. was probably his user throughout the whole season, and he definitely focused on developing him, as we can see here.
Troy Pride Jr., Defensive Rookie of the Year.
No surprises here, as Aaron Donald comes in as the best defensive lineman in the NFC. Dude is an absolute monster.
Yeah, Aaron Donald really comes in, and he's just a man amongst boys. I believe he's around 6 feet tall. So he's not really like stature-wise. You don't look at him and would strike fear, but when you see the way he's built, I mean, the dude's an absolute machine. And I believe Weezy will probably be missing him on his team this year, and I'm sure Slop is going to make the most out of it. Actually, it's not Slop down there. It's Solo down there. My bad. And yeah, just more on Aaron Donald. He just moves people, double team, triple team. It doesn't matter. He's going to be the best player, maybe one of the best players to ever play football, going to be the best player in Madden for a while.
Aaron Donald, Best Defensive Lineman.
Foyesade Oluokun, starting his year off strong with the Falcons and continuing that momentum, he won the best linebacker.
Yeah, Foyesade Oluokun, we know it's a hard name to pronounce, but people have gotten used to it in the Madden community as he is just absolutely insane to have on your team. He always has upwards of 90 speed, and he's just always been insane to have because you can put him at linebacker and he can man up with a receiver if the receiver's running straight, and they might not run by him. He's an absolute monster. He's fun to use. I had the Falcons last year. I believe you have the Falcons in another league, and now Dumpf actually came after him a couple times last year trade wise. And now Dumpf gets to use him and feel what it's like to have linebacker that is that fast.
Foyesade Oluokun, best linebacker.
So that brings us to the end of this Any Given Sunday award show, and a crazy season we had. Great user plays by a lot of people making names for themselves out there, and best of luck to everybody else in our next season. Bro, okay, I don't know if you want to throw this in the bloopers. Mid-recording, right? This chick texts
Hold on, you gotta make it focus.
Look, she just popped in. It's I don't know if it's gonna
not
show.
focusing.
This chick
You're
just
not gonna be able
texted
to see
me.
it.
Oh, gee, this chick just texted me, and she's been, like, psychotic. And now she wants to be friends again. She just offered to drop off Chick-fil-A so we can start over. Fuck women.
She
Anyways,
wants his cock.
that's one of the bloopers I'll send to you.